is the leader of the Nancy Nation.
You know Prince Havoc? You know Jack Peterson?
I don't know who these people are.
It's your boy, Ryan Van Vliet. He's
right down from Bond.
The hipster heartthrob, Casanova Valentine.
You're listening to Fight Guys.
FightGeist.
FightGeist.
WrestleGeist.
We take it again?
FightGeist, the alternative wrestling podcast.
The Pro Wrestling Alternative Podcast.
The alternative podcast.
Alright, we can work with that.
Are you ready?
We are changing the wrestling world.
Hall of Famer, yeah.
This is as real as it gets. This is the realest podcast today.
Something came up, Daddy-O.
I think I'm cute. I think I'm sexy. I've got the looks that drives the girls wild.
This is Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
Yeah.
When he's driving and you cut him off at an intersection.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Break it down.
I'm scared because I was actually talking about the voices that I hear in my head, and I now realize we were talking about Randy Orton.
He not only sucks, but he blows.
Number one match of all time happened at AEW Revolution.
You get that? That was my sigh. I was sighing.
I think all these wrestlers should die. They should get executed.
The point is not the fact that Rey Mysterio dies at the end, because, oh, go cry about it. Rey Mysterio's dead. Whatever.
Is Pantera a screamo band?
Oh my God. You're calling me.
This is how I know that your guys' business relationship and partnership is not going to last. Either Jack's going to flip out and get mad at Phil.
Oh, you are a pretentious fucking asshole.
Or Phil's going to be like, Jack, man, you're always too rash to me, man.
You sound like an internet idiot, and I'm ashamed to be on a podcast with you.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
We're so alternative.
Listen up, turn it up and rock it out. Party on, I wanna hear you scream and shout. This is real as it gets. I came to your town to get some respect. Taking it back to a hardcore level. You better be ready, put your pedal to the metal. Taking it back to a hardcore level. Better be ready, put your pedal to the metal. Go! Whoa, I never give in. Whoa, I never give up. Whoa, I never give in. I just wanna be loved. Whoa, I never give in. Whoa, I never give up. Whoa, I never give in. I just wanna be loved.
I am Jack Peterson. I am Ajax. I am Mr. Clean. I'm Sex Pac. I'm FM Guy. I am Mr. Trivia. I'm Mr. Predictions. And you can't tell me anything otherwise. I'm Scotch Tape. I'm Joe Biden. And I'm joined every single week by the man across the internet.
You're not Mr. Predictions. I don't want to say my name because I'm insulted that you would even say that you're Mr. Predictions. I'm not even saying my name right now. I'm annoyed.
You're not saying your names?
I'm going on a strike.
Wow, okay, so we're only 34 episodes in, and you're already on strike, and people are hearing this on FM, on WMYU 89.1 FM, to be exact, in the New York City area, or at WMYU.org, and you're just quitting on me here.
Yep, because you're not Mr. Predictions. We all know that you cheated during the trivia game. This is proven. You can check it out on episode 25.
Well, this is true.
Not let my mystery partner, Mark 1, finish answering his trivia questions just because his mystery partner didn't show up.
Yeah, well, you know, I feel like just considering the fact that there's been two trivia competitions, one that was one-on-one and one that was team-based, you can go back to episodes 20 and 25 for those respectively, and the fact that I've come out on top of both of those. I mean, just look, you can make all the excuses you want. I gotta say, you sound a little bit like our current, soon-to-be former president. You're making a lot of excuses here. I promise you I didn't stuff any ballots. I promise you I did not cheat. Sonata from New Japan Pro Wrestling, he pulled it out for me, and I am just about to be the undisputed Mr. Predictions once we get through these Full Gear predictions.
Nope, that's not real. That was not a real thing. Sonata making it to the final, that's not a real point, alright? That's a fake point. Fake point. I'm saying it right now. Fake point. That's a fake point for you. I'm still Mr. Predictions, and you didn't let Mark 1 finish his trivia questions, and that's more fake points for you. So, technically, I'm Mr. Trivia and Mr. Predictions, but whatever. Oh yeah, and I'm Phil. There we go. I said it. My strike is over.
Well,
Prince Havoc. blah blah blah. Everyone should know I'm Mr. Predictions. Forget about my actual name. Just refer to me as Mr. Predictions because that is who I am. Jack, you're not going to take that away from me. It's been 34 weeks. 34 weeks and you can never beat me because I'm number one. I'm Mr. Predictions. And after Full Gear, of course, I'm still going to be Mr. Predictions. Come on now.
Yeah, well, that's definitely going to be up for debate because, yes, like we've been saying, this Saturday is AEW All Elite Wrestling Full Gear, big pay-per-view. I think it's a pay-per-view that we're going to disagree on a lot of matches in terms of our predictions for because there's a lot of kind of contentious matchups here, a lot of matchups that could go either way. And I know, I'm scared too, to be honest, because I'm defending my title as Mr. Predictions here, and if I lose it, that'd be pretty embarrassing.
Well, you're not really defending your title. It's more like an interim title that you have, and I have the actual title.
Well, as far as I know, interim titles usually don't go to people who fairly won the actual championship, but sure, that's fine. If you want to think of it that way.
Gaethje, I'm Khabib, and I beat you. Because that's just the way it is.
I think I'm a little bit closer.
He had the interim title. He threw. You know what Justin Gaethje did with this interim title? Threw it down on the floor because he said, "I don't want that. I want the real title." What happens? Goes to fight for the real title. Gets put to sleep by a triangle. Night. That's what I'm doing to you. All right, Jack. I'm the real champion here. The only way you're gonna get my title is if I leave FightGeist. If I completely forget about this whole podcast. That's the only way you'll actually have my title. Actually, even when I leave, I'll still have the title, actually. I'll have to die for you to get that title. And even if I'm dead, I'll give the title to one of my family members. So you'll just never get the title. It's just the way it is.
Okay, well, at least now I have a to-do list here. So the first one is get Phil to leave FightGeist. Second one here, if that doesn't work, kill Phil. And third one would be to go after his family, I guess, right?
Kill Phil should be a movie. It should be like the new Kill Bill.
Oh no, I'm making that movie right now. So the first chapter, I think, is going to be this Saturday. Because this Saturday is going to be high tension, high emotion for a lot of wrestlers on the pay-per-view. And, of course, for us. And for everybody who's been following the predictions game since back to episode 3. We've been, for a long time, going back and forth here. Phil's been in the lead the whole time, as you said, until, last week.
34 weeks strong.
Yeah, 33. But yeah, and...
a lot of days.
It is a lot of days, and I am really trying my best here to break this streak. Well, I already did, but to keep my lead. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 8 matches to predict today, and a couple of them are definitely going to be ones that we disagree on. And also, another thing about this, too, we're about to reach a big threshold here. We haven't totally decided what the threshold means. Whichever one of us wins this thing is going to hit 50 points in the prediction game. Because right now, according to the list I've got right in front of me here, which, as we know, is very accurate, I am at 49 points and Phil is at 48.
It's tied. It's actually tied. You're lying right now.
I see numbers on my screen.
Even sit there and act like that. I thought I knew you. I've known you for a while, and I thought I actually knew you, but the more we do this show, I really see your true colors, and I'm not liking it. You're just a filthy, dirty, cheating scumbag. That's what you are.
Hey, you can call me all these things if you want, as long as you make sure to include my true title.
Mr. Wrong, I'm interrupting all of this because this is wrong. This is not correct. This is not his title. You're hearing it. He's playing it, but that doesn't mean that it's his title. Because he's a cheater. He's a cheater, and he will forever be a cheater. Because that's just what he does. Cheated in the trivia game. Cheated in the predictions game. Cheats in everything. He's not Mr. Predictions. You're hearing this right now. Predictions. All false. All false. I'm Mr. Predictions. He could play that as much as he wants, but he knows it. He goes to sleep saying, wow, it's hard for me to sleep right now because, I'm not actually Mr. Predictions. I'm living a lie. That's what happens when you go to sleep, and I know it.
Well, Phil, I'm sorry, I really couldn't hear anything you were saying. I turned up the treble and it got real loud. Personally, I just like it better that way. So, we are going to pick Full Gear today. And yes, okay. I understand that we both have claims to fame. We both have reasons why we think we're Mr. Predictions. And look, I can weigh these. I know that I'm right, but I can understand why you would think that you are. And so today,
week after week after week after week after week.
Right.
Mr. Predictions.
For 33.
Sonata finals. That's not a real point that you got there.
Well, we did clarify way back on the episode.
Find it. Find where I said that.
Okay, yeah. I will find that, but it doesn't even matter because it ultimately does not matter because it does come down.
Last week I said, hey, find where I said that. And it's been a week. Actually, it's been over a week, and you still haven't found it.
Yeah, I forgot is what happened. So
Yeah, right. You probably just couldn't find it.
I'll find it. I promise you I'll find this clip if you want it so badly. If you want to be proven wrong so badly, I'll find this clip.
There's nothing. There's nothing. It doesn't exist. There is no clip. There's nothing of me saying, "Oh, yeah, if the finals, if your guy goes to the finals and you predict it, that's a point." Nope, never said that. I never said that, and you can't even find the clip. Nobody can find the clip. I challenge everyone listening to find the clip.
It's just so good.
You can't find the clip. I'm sorry.
all sticky. It's
You're
just
really
so
too
so
hard,
good.
you know? It's kind of embarrassing, honestly. I think you should just apologize. Say, Phil, I have cheated in the past. I've tried to be better than you. But, I'm just not better than you. And I've come to a realization that, I'll never be Mr. Predictions, and I'll never be better than you. That's what I want to hear right now. Because it's the truth. You're just a cheater. You're just a cheater, and you'll never be better than me. I am Mr. Predictions, and I should be Mr. Trivia. But I allow you to have the title as Mr. Trivia because I said, he doesn't have any titles, and I'll give this one to him even though he cheated. Because Mr. Trivia doesn't mean that much to me. But Mr. Predictions, it means the world to me. Because that's been my baby. I go to sleep with that title. You understand? For 34 weeks, that's been my title. That's been by my bedside. I kiss it goodnight every night. And you're trying to take that from me. And I won't let that happen. That title is me. I am the title. And you're not going to take me.
So the first match on this card is...
You're not Mr. Predictions.
I hate to say it, but, the numbers, they don't really lie.
I'm going to turn my headphones off if this isn't an apology. I'll leave.
Oh, no, I'll absolutely give you an apology for this whole scenario if you give me a heartfelt apology for the golf thing that you never apologized for, sure. So...
I did.
No, you
took
didn't.
off my hat and did it.
False.
Just clicked on the FightGeist Twitch.
Right.
You can check the episode.
Yeah.
The Wayne's World hat turned me evil, as we all know Wayne's World hats do. I was, a little bit evil. What can I say? And I took the hat off. Don't even have it in my room anymore. It's gone. It's somewhere else. Because I don't want to be that person anymore. And when I took the hat off, what did I do? I apologized. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did. If I did anything to hurt you, I apologize. These are the words I said, and you can find it. I apologize. So now I want your apology for cheating. Not tweeting, cheating. All right? Apologize.
Never gonna happen, I think. That's what I'm gonna go with. So the first match here that we're gonna be picking...
That day when I took the hat off was fake. I just hope you know that.
No, I know it was fake. So the first match on this card... I'm not sure if you want to pick this one. This is on the buy-in. And I don't know if this is important. Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. I mean... No?
Cassidy.
Do you want to skip it, or do you want to just both say Orange?
We'd both say Orange.
Okay, let's both say Orange. Who cares about that match? I just figured I'd start with it because it will be the first match of the night. The next match is one that matters a lot more.
Right.
So, we've talked a lot about a certain tag team that you love called the Young Bucks. They're actually known as the worst tag team going today. And
they're the best tag team in the world to ever exist.
Well,
I don't know where you're getting your news from.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've just heard other perspectives.
Then again, you're a cheater, and you live that bad lifestyle, so it makes sense that you would think like that.
Not really true. So we have the Young Bucks, and they actually are the challengers here. They're going into the AEW World Tag Team Title match against FTR, aka the Revival, and it's a big match. It's kind of part of a big storyline that's been going all the way back to Revolution when Hangman and Omega were the tag team champions, defending against the Young Bucks. Young Bucks lost there, and. What? Excuse me? Are you interrupting me?
Back to 2017, going back to being the elite.
Okay, well, yeah.
That's how long this thing has been going. It came to a point where the Revival, FTR, was in WWE and put FTR on their butts. They put it on their underwear. That's how long this thing has been going on. The only reason the name is FTR is because of that. Because of all the way back in 2017. So this is a storyline that's been going on for years.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a storyline that you probably care about more than I do, just because you love these. Young Bucks, more like young sucks. More like young fucks, right? More like young lucks, because like they just it was all luck, no talent, or more like young sucks, really. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think you're the joke guy. It wasn't really funny.
I don't know. I've been told that at least it's more like observational comedy than anything. It's kind of like a Jerry Seinfeld deal.
I don't think anybody laughed. If you laughed at that, say it in the chat. But I don't think anyone laughed at that. If you laughed at that, text me in 20 years when you're listening to this.
Yes, they'll text you in 20 years.
I'm never ever gonna receive a text that says I laughed at that. I guarantee it. Text me if it's like 20 years and there's a whole other social media, like I don't know, Flipster Pop.
Yeah.
Text me on Flipster Pop.
Text me on Flipster Pop. Honestly,
I guarantee I'm never gonna get that text message that says that.
Yeah, text me on Flipster Pop and tell me that you loved that and that I should be a stand-up comedian. So young sucks versus FT cool guys. So yeah, we have this tag team match, right? It's for the AEW tag team titles, and this is something that I feel like this is one of those matches on this card that really could go either way, and I see pretty much even chances of it going either way. I'm inclined to think maybe it's FTR just because it was not so long since they won the titles, but the Young Bucks also, this seems like their opportunity since they lost last time they challenged for the titles. This seems like something that they would come back and win, so it really could go either way. I want to hear who you think is going to win this first, and maybe that'll help me make my decision. I really do not know.
Young Bucks.
You're going all Young Bucks?
All Young Bucks. I'm buying in.
Is there any doubt in your mind? And also, is this at all just because you like them?
No doubt in my mind the Young Bucks are winning this. No doubt in my mind.
Well, you know what? Then I'm going to say let's wager our first point in this potential predictions shakeup on this match, because I'm going with FTR. I think
this guy.
If this is going to be,
I swear.
If this is going to be something that the Young Bucks do win, but they probably will win the tag titles at some point because they own the company and they just like to do that sort of thing. So if they are going to win the tag team titles, I feel like this might be part of just a longer game, a longer storyline. FTR wins here, causes the Young Bucks to...
Hold on, have they ever won the tag team titles?
No, but they're building up to it.
They like to do that thing. What do you mean?
I mean that the people in this company who own this company, such as Cody Rhodes, by the way, he's got that name back out here now. Cody Rhodes gave himself the TNT title not once but twice, and then you have and buried several people on the way.
Cody Rhodes is not the only person deciding what happens on the show.
Right, Kenny Omega gave himself the tag team titles, and the Young Bucks so far have done a good job of staying out of the title picture. Well, not out of the title picture because they've been challenging for the titles, but they haven't won them yet. And I just know it's coming because they want to build it up, not just as something that they win the tag team titles, but something that they could have this heroic hero's journey and they finally climb the mountaintop.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me if you ran a company, you wouldn't give yourself the title once?
Oh, maybe at some point, maybe, but that wouldn't be.
So stop. Everyone's like, oh, they run the company, so they're giving themselves. No, literally every single person that says that would do the exact same thing.
I don't know if that's true.
It's not like they're gonna have the titles forever.
Yeah.
Just let them have their moment. Let them shine.
I'd rather not let them have their moment. I don't like these guys. In case you don't know.
So they can't win. So they can't win because they run the company. Because they own part of the company. They can't win.
That's not what I'm saying. I just mean that.
So they can't have titles because they run the company.
Well, I'd rather they didn't, but that's not the point of why I'm picking FTR.
You would love it. You would love Cody Rhodes. Oh my God, yeah, I love Cody Rhodes. Oh yes, he's the TNT champion. That would be you.
Wait, I would love him if what happened?
If Cody Rhodes didn't own some part of the company, you would love Cody Rhodes.
I don't know. I'm not liking Cody right now.
Everyone, all of you, Sebi, all of you. You guys are just hypocrites because you would all do the same exact thing. You would do this without a doubt. You would do the same exact thing. You would give yourself the title at least once. And first of all, I guarantee they're not just giving themselves the title. There's multiple people that are in charge of who wins what in the matchmaking and all that. So they're not just giving it to them.
No, you're right. They didn't give themselves the title. They wrote it down on a piece of paper and said, "I am going to win championship," and then they did it. So
because you know how the backstage of wrestling works. You know how all that works, right, Jack?
And I think that's it's just about
interned for WWE, right?
a couple times actually. Yeah, I helped them decide not to sign the Young Bucks actually back when they were thinking about signing them. So I had a lot of influence at the time. So FTR is my pick, not because I don't think the Young Bucks will win the titles, but because I think it's inevitable, but that it won't happen yet because they want to go through the transformation stage of the hero's journey, if you will. I took a couple film classes. No big deal. Not saying I'm cooler than you, just saying that, I maybe have more knowledge than you. So,
you think you're better than me?
Yeah, just a little bit, but that's not. It's besides the point. It's besides the point. It's irrelevant. No, that's actually me.
You're a cheater.
Not true. So I think the Young Bucks, they're kind of teasing kind of a heel turn, so I think maybe they lose here and then kind of start to act heelish, kind of like Gargano did. Not to compare wrestlers I hate to wrestlers I love, but Gargano, when he lost to Ciampa and then he gradually went pretty much heel, but you could still kind of see his justification, and then came back around again to get his big moment, I feel like it might be kind of a story like that they're trying to do here. So I'm going FTR, you're going Young Bucks, flat out?
Flat out, 1,000%.
Cool, all right. So that's the first...
out of my mind, the Young Bucks are going to win the tag team titles come Full Gear.
Yeah, I will break my TV. So the next match is the women's title. So this is one that, maybe you'll disagree with me on this, but for me this doesn't feel like something that's going to be that huge. It's a rematch from Double or Nothing. It's Hikaru Shida defending against Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose, a former champion, and Shida won last time to at Double or Nothing to win the title. And I guess with Nyla having Vicky Guerrero now, maybe there's a chance she gets the title back, but what it feels like for me is that Hikaru Shida is probably going to lose the title to Britt Baker down the line because they're building Britt Baker up, and they also had that great match several months ago that maybe they want to redo. And I just think Britt Baker's the type of person they want to put the title on, so I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think Nyla really has a chance here.
I don't know. It's just hard because why would she have a manager? Why would she get Vicky Guerrero as a manager if she's not gonna actually win the title?
Right.
But then again, I don't see her losing the title though, and I think she might lose it to Baker.
Yeah.
So I might agree with you on that actually.
You know Shida too?
Yeah, because I feel like they would have a better match anyway.
Yeah, I think so. It is always a chance, but I think it's pretty cut and dry for me.
Maybe down the line, Nyla Rose might take it from Britt Baker, maybe, but
maybe, yeah.
I don't think Nyla's gonna win this one.
Okay, so we both have Shida, and we both have Orange Cassidy, so we agree on 2 out of 3 now. But this next match, I don't know. This is a match that I think we've kind of, this is a storyline that we've kind of talked about and kind of parodied a lot here. We have the Matt Hardy-Sammy Guevara rematch, and in the past, when these guys have fought each other, it's always exclusively ended in disaster. Because we've had, the first time we had, Matt Hardy got all bloody or whatever. The second time, Sammy Guevara got a concussion or something. Something happened. I don't remember exactly what happened, but there were injuries to both of them in the first couple of matches they had. Third match, we all know what happened there. We all know the shots to the glorb that one Matt Hardy took. We know about the concussion. We have made fun of his concussion. And really, I think it's all, this whole storyline, considering how long it's gone, considering how it's still happening, it can be all summed up by, I don't know,
the more things change, the less they say, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
So they're having an Elite Deletion match, which I don't know what that means, besides the fact that it basically rhymes. Maybe it'll be kind of a Hardy compound type deal. I gotta say, for a couple reasons, I'm not really looking forward to this match that much, because I like both guys, but there's just 2 major things. I'm sick of Hardy compound matches. If that's what this is, then I'm not that interested. Unless it's
When's the last time you saw one?
I don't know, a long time ago.
2017. How are you sick of it?
I just don't like that. I'm done.
Existed for years.
You're right, but I guess it's probably because they've been doing a lot of these cinematic matches. They have the the Braun Strowman Bray Wyatt shit, or a lot of these matches recently that are similar. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't really want to see that type of match right now. Maybe it could be good. It could be closer to the Stadium Stampede. Who knows? And I would like to see that maybe if it was kind of comedic too. But I also think that Matt Hardy stands a pretty good chance of dying in this match.
Yeah, maybe. Listen, I don't know who's going to win this match. Sebi says, I like the match and I'm ready for the first Hardy compound match in quite a while. And I agree. I can't wait. It's been a long time. I feel like Matt would win, considering the concussion.
Right.
The bad concussion.
As opposed to a good one.
Yeah, exactly. And him being in his home of
Oh yeah, if it's a compound thing, yeah. Also, why is he calling it the Elite Deletion if he's not really with the Elite anymore, right? It's like not related.
Kinda. I mean, they're friends backstage. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, we love breaking those kayfabe barriers. So you're picking Matt Hardy.
It rhymes. Don't forget about that.
It basically rhymed. So you're picking Matt Hardy to win this?
Kinda, but I kind of want Sammy Guevara to win. But I love Matt Hardy though.
Right.
Like it's not that I don't like Matt Hardy. It's just I like Sammy Guevara a lot, and it'd be cool for him to win.
Yeah, it's a tough one because it's not. This isn't a rubber match really. It's kind of like they each won one, and then the match that the concussion happened. Technically, Matt won that because he covered him after the thing or whatever.
I think Matt's gonna win.
You think Matt? Okay. I'm gonna pick Sammy because I think that he's gonna kind of get like sort of a comeuppance, and you know, since he's the younger star, that he'll get the last laugh, the last win, just to move forward from this. Matt Hardy
could put him over.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's a Hardy compound match, there's a very good chance that Matt wins. So I don't know, but I'm gonna pick Sammy, and if we disagree on this one, then that could be another point to me.
No.
Yes.
Well, I'm winning this.
Whoa.
You have such bad calls, but it's fine because I'm gonna win it.
Bad calls. This one we actually might disagree on too, because I really do not know what's going to happen with this. I'm actually I think I'm looking forward to this match, just because of the stipulations and the ways that it could go. But with Chris Jericho versus MJF, and I usually am not a huge fan of heel versus heel type scenarios, but in this case, I'm kind of into it. I don't know if I'm into it because it's the stipulation here too is that if MJF wins, he gets to join the Inner Circle, and if Jericho wins, I guess MJF is not allowed to. So. The tough scenario here is normally I would pick Jericho because I don't think that they're going to put MJF in the Inner Circle, but MJF has only lost once ever in a singles match to Moxley. He just in his last pay-per-view match lost. So it would be weird for him to lose again, especially to Jericho, who's much older and everything. So that would
Jericho doesn't lose that often either. I mean, he lost the Orange Cassidy match, but
well, that's the thing. He doesn't
that much.
Yeah, he doesn't lose he doesn't lose the average match, but he seems to lose when it counts. Big matches like this sort of thing, when he gets to put over somebody younger, and especially like when he was in WWE and stuff like that, he would always lose just to make the younger guys look good. And this seems like a scenario. It seems like the sort of thing where he'd be like, "I really like that MJF guy," and he'd go backstage and be like, "You know what? I think I'm gonna give the kid the rub," you know, and he'd say that.
I got Jericho.
You got Jericho? All right, you know.
I don't know.
Fuck yeah, I'm torn on this one too. My instinct, because he hasn't lost very much, and because it could continue the storyline and make, you know, the potential idea of MJF in the Inner Circle, I'm gonna go MJF.
I'm going Jericho.
Okay, cool. So we have 3 that we disagree on now. This is it's definitely heating up. So not only will one of us, well, I guess it depends on how much. You know, if one of us wins one and then one of us wins the other, and then we go back and forth, maybe it'll even out to about the same score we have now. But if one of us runs away and gets several right, since we disagree on so many, it won't only be a determination of the real Mr. Predictions, but we might get a large lead as well. So, considering we disagree on so many matches, it's exciting. We have 3 more, though. Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Eddie Kingston in an I Quit match. What do you think about this match?
My God, I'm so ready. Dude, ever since Eddie Kingston came to AEW, I was like, they gotta have Eddie and Jon Moxley. Honestly, it's a beautiful tale of 2 dudes from CZW just on the indies, grinding with no money in their pocket, and now they're in the main event of the biggest pay-per-view right now for the world title, which is just amazing and beautiful and great. I love it so much. But, I almost want Eddie, like, honestly, I almost want Eddie Kingston to win. Like, that's how much I like Eddie Kingston. And you know I love Jon Moxley.
Right.
But I almost want Eddie Kingston to win, bro.
Do you think he will, though?
I don't know. I kind of don't
think so. I don't think so.
Okay. So So like from my perspective, I know you have more of an attachment to CZW than I do because you rank them way higher on our tier list. Episode 22.
You don't really know what wrestling is, but continue.
Yeah, I could say the same about you.
WCW you put in F, everyone agrees.
Yeah, because it does suck. Yeah, because it is the worst promotion ever.
No one agrees with you, Jack.
Well,
but it's whatever. You don't know about wrestling. You host a wrestling podcast. Whatever. That's pretty much everyone on podcasts in general. So.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but people can disagree with objective fact as much as they want. Doesn't make them any more accurate. And we've seen this with the election. So anyway,
you're like Donald Trump.
I'm like Donald Trump?
Yes.
You're the one who is claiming that all of this stuff is rigged against you, You're the one who is saying that I had a lag switch.
It's actually rigged, though. You literally did not let my mystery partner finish answering the mystery questions. Literally, that's not like a thing that I made up. You actually didn't let him finish. Mark 1, I'm talking
Your
about.
fucking mystery
Mark
partner.
1 finish because your partner didn't come in.
Your fucking mystery partner was a plastic phone. Your mystery partner was a member of my team, and I hate to break kayfabe, but it's true.
No, Mark 1 was not a member of your team, and you didn't even have a mystery partner.
Because you didn't that's why I tried to move on from that segment and cancel it out. Whatever. All right, forget it.
Because you didn't have a mystery partner, and you didn't want to let my mystery partner finish answering the questions that would have led my team to victory. But okay.
Not what happened.
I'm sorry, Kevin didn't want to come on the show.
Yeah. So I'm glad he didn't. Actually, no. You know what? I'm still starting my campaign, continuing my campaign to get Kevin to come on this show and talk to us because he did say some inflammatory things as we've established, and he needs to come on here and answer for his crimes. So everybody go tweet at WWE Shorty G and get him on the show because it's. I think we should do that. I think it would be some interesting stuff. So anyway, John Moxley, Eddie Kingston, CZW guys, like you said. I didn't care about this match, this storyline that much when it started, but in recent weeks I've really started liking it. I've liked a lot of the segments they've been doing. Eddie Kingston's promos are really very hard hitting and realistic, and so are Moxley's recently too. So it's been built up really well.
I'm telling you got to look back at the one from last night.
Yeah.
The promo they had last night. My God, it was like you felt it in your heart. You felt it in your heart. I'm not even going to say anything else about it. You just got to watch it, man.
Okay.
Very good, very good, very good.
And I don't think that Eddie Kingston has any chance of winning, but this is the most I've cared about a match that I can only see going one way since I guess Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Reminds me of that. But they have built up Eddie Kingston as somebody who looks like he could win this. It's an I Quit match, which Eddie doesn't want to quit or whatever. Yeah. He's got his sidekicks.
Can you imagine Eddie Kingston saying, I quit? I can't. Can you imagine John Moxley saying, I quit? I can't. So it's crazy.
It's probably going to be a recording, like that time with Mankind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who are you picking?
John Moxley.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, so it'll be an exciting match, but there's no way it goes. Two more matches we have here. We have the TNT Championship, and I think this is one we might also disagree on. I'm not sure, but
I don't even want to predict that one, man. You know me.
Yeah, we have Cody defending against Darby Allin, and this is Darby's. He's had several shots at titles before and never won them, which makes me want to pick him.
He's had several shots at everything.
Yeah.
And I predict him every time, and he loses.
That's the thing, too. Yeah, you have picked Darby Allin, I think, 3 different times, and he's lost all 3 times that you picked him. So it would not. If you believe in patterns and you believe in luck and you believe in fate, it would not favor you. It would not behoove you to pick Darby Allin here again. But he very well could win this. So
I'm going Darby Allin.
I am so far in the middle. I have no idea. I think
it wouldn't make sense for Cody to lose again so soon.
Right.
It wouldn't make sense for Darby Allin to lose.
Yeah, well, I think Cody could lose because I think he's going to turn heel soon. That's what it's seeming like, right?
I hope that'd be real cool. Hopefully he doesn't dye his hair again.
Just keep it blonde, man. Like, he looks great blonde. Dude, when he dyed his hair black, didn't he look like 30 years older?
He did look 30, and he looked terrible. He looked awful. It was like the neck
sides of
tattoo.
his head were red. His scalp on the sides of his head was red.
Yeah, he's a mess. This guy, he's an alien. He's not human. I'm not saying this in a good way, like he's this awesome wrestler. I'm saying he's a fucking bizarre person.
No, that was so weird when he dyed his hair and he just looked not healthy.
Yeah,
looked like he was like on crack or something.
But when he has the yellow hair, the blonde, what's it called, blonde hair, he looks like Bart Simpson. He's got it fades into his scalp. It's like
he looks good. He looks real good with the blonde hair.
He looks fine, but
especially when the roots come in a little bit too.
Right. That's what I mean, though. I mean, it looks like it fades into his head. His skin is the same color as his hair, which is really weird.
I don't know. It's a pretty. I don't think it's a platinum blonde. It's maybe like a shade darker from that. But I like it. It's very good. Way better than that. I'd rather see his hair blend in with his scalp than black hair and a red scalp because his hair is irritated from the dye. I'd rather see that.
Good point.
Because that was really weird. Like like his eyes, like he had like circles around his eyes when he dyed his hair black. His scalp was red.
Right.
It was not nice. It was bad. It was really bad. I'm just glad his hair is blonde again. All right.
Yeah, me too. So from the chat, Coyote says I'm debating on whether or not to make a FightGeist fanfic right now. And Coyote, I think you should do it. I think you should absolutely do that.
Do it.
I am scared about which way it's going to go.
Put me over.
That's not going to happen. So Sebi also says Jack has the most doomer mentality with this. I assume he's talking about with the I Quit match. Sebi, I hate to break it to you, I have a doomer mentality with everything, and
I don't even know what that means.
I hate to say well, it's kind of in the word. Darby Allin.
Do you have a Dahmer mentality? Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah, absolutely. If you keep talking.
Sebi says Cody needs to just grow it out and have the frosted tips. That would be a look. Now, how long are we talking? You're talking grow it out, or are you talking like just grow it out and keep it the same length and just keep cutting it until the blonde is the frosted tip? That's what I want to know. But let's get to this prediction.
Yeah, Sebi just clarified that he means the pay-per-view. He means that I'm pessimistic about the whole pay-per-view as a whole, which, sorry that I'm not a big fan of the Elite, but I'm not. So
he's just not really like all there sometimes.
Right.
You know?
No, that's not true.
He doesn't know what's cool sometimes. You gotta remember he listens to like car seat headrest.
This has to come up every episode.
You know, it's like
oh,
he's not the coolest guy. I mean, he's not like the biggest dork in the world, but I mean, he's not the coolest guy. He doesn't like the Young Bucks. Listens to the car seat headrest. What else? Doesn't like the Elite. Doesn't like wrestling. Doesn't like the color red. Doesn't like long hair.
Where did the color red take come from? Where did the long hair take come from? You're
You said
confusing
these
that.
things to me.
I've never said these things before.
I
So
heard you don't even like Biden.
I don't like Biden.
I heard you like Trump.
That part's not true. I don't know. Some of these things that you're saying right now, Phil, I think I could classify as intense slander, and I probably could
Sue.
I probably could sue.
See, you're just like Trump. That's exactly what I was talking about. See that? Oh man.
By the way, can we
Just
talk about
snapper
this?
for you.
Can we talk about this? You hear about this election thing?
I heard about it. Yeah, I have it. Literally, it's right here in front of my face.
Me too. I have the New York Times page open that gives you these live updates, right? At the time we're recording this, the election has not yet been called. There are 6 states that have still not had their results all come in yet, and it looks like it could. It looks like there's some edging towards. By
Hold on. To interrupt you right now, Georgia, it's 49.4%, 49.4%. Both of them, 99% completion. It's literally a difference of like 2,000 votes.
Dude, how is that possible? It's saying that it's a difference of 1,900 votes. How is that fucking possible? That it's that few. Regardless, this is not going to matter when people hear this probably because this won't go up until probably tomorrow and people will know these things.
But it kind of proves that every vote actually does matter. Because look at how close this is.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's also like I'm coming around a little bit on the Electoral College. I think it's not like the worst system. There's no reason for it to exist, but at the same time, like I don't have a huge problem with it existing because if you look at it, the Electoral College is based on the popular vote. It's based on how many votes somebody gets in the state, and then they determine the electorals.
but there's no law against them going against,
Right.
like what it says.
Yeah, that's true.
Scary.
That is a scary thing, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Most of the time that doesn't happen, and it's not seeming to happen here. But I just think the whole thing's very funny. Trump is losing his mind. Not that he ever had it, but if you saw his from Thursday, his speech that was practically a concession speech, where he came on Fox. I think only a few networks were showing him. A lot of them just cut him off. They just got rid of him. Or CNN put up a headline that just says, "Let me get this up. I have a screenshot of this whole thing." Phil, if you could put it up on the stream, because I sent it to you too. It says it's just a photo of Trump looking the most depressed he's ever looked, and it says, "Breaking news: without any evidence, Trump says he's being cheated." And it's the most funny thing I've ever seen, because this man is gone. He has completely given up hope. And rightfully so, but it's just very funny to me, because when you take away the power from these people, from these fascists who run the government, when you take away their shreds of power and hope and their ability to say, "Oh, we win all the time. Oh, stop whining that you lose," right? Because they like to say that. When they start losing, it's hilarious because they are pathetic as fuck. Because they are such sad sacks, and they're turning against each other too. I don't know if you've seen this, but Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump are attacking the likes of Lindsey Graham and the likes of Dan Crenshaw and people like that on Twitter, because they say and then Fox News as well. They're attacking Fox News and saying it's biased against them. Where the slightest thing doesn't go their way, and they've always said these things. They've always been like screaming into a void about how the media is biased against them or whatever it is, and people are cheating them. But they've always had the presidency and they've always had the power, so they could just say these things, and it could be, people would not, it would not actually really have an effect in the long term. But now it does, because he's not going to be president. He's going to lose, and I hope that me saying this right now does not jinx the whole scenario, because as we're saying this, it's an active war zone pretty much. And
look at this.
You got the picture up on the stream?
Yeah, I finally got it up. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So
brutal.
Yeah. So the Republican Party, the party of Trump, is falling apart at the seams, and it is so funny to watch. It's also really weird. I don't know if you've seen this, but the way that I think a lot of people are kind of reacting to it already, I think everybody's preparing for. I don't know. What's your take? Do you think there's going to be a civil war?
No, I don't think there's going to be a civil war. I think there's not going to be a civil war because there's a lot more things to do now. Like, think about it. When the Civil War happened, it was like, oh, I'm going to go read this book. I'm going to go play with these sticks and build a stick house. But now we got like Netflix and Twitch, and people might be like, yeah, I want to go, I kind of want to watch TV. I think it's gonna be more like that. I don't think these people from like the middle America, the country bumpkins. I don't think they are gonna have that much energy. I think they're gonna be very lazy and just stay home and watch TV and drink a beer. I don't think they're gonna have that much energy to have a civil war. But also, what I want to bring up is right now, right? It's what is it? November 5th, right? 2020. It's the highest worldwide coronavirus cases we've ever had.
I think it's the second highest, but yes.
No, I think they said it's the highest.
Really?
The highest, yeah, it's the highest we ever had.
Oh my God.
Our president didn't mention it at all. All he talked about was that how he's cheating and telling people to not count the votes, but then to count the votes, and telling people, oh, the mail-in ballots are incorrect. They're a fraud, even though he told all of his supporters to not use mail-in ballots. So it makes sense that the numbers for the Republican Party is not in many mail-in ballots. So that's what he spent his time doing instead of addressing, the highest coronavirus cases worldwide, which is a big deal.
Yeah. And I don't know what we should have expected.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know what we should have expected, because this is just the way that this guy is, but he's always had that modicum of victory to hold over people's heads. Like I was saying, like, we've always been able to complain about this guy, but he's still the president. He still has this executive power. He can still make an executive order that fucking, I don't know, transgender people can't be in the military or whatever. Or you can cut the funding to all these vital organizations. And he could just do these things, and very, very soon he is not going to be able to do them anymore. And now this is like the greatest loss he's probably experienced in his life, because he's always been able to go bankrupt and just bounce back and be bailed out, whatever. He's always been able to get loans from his father of more money. He's always been able to have his university be sued for fraud, and just people just fucking forget about it. He's had his ratings tank on his TV show, and he just moves on to the next thing. Oh, he's president now, so he can forget about that, whatever. He's had so many failures, but he's always just been like, he just like skipped to the next thing, and he's never had a loss that actually affected him, which is why it would be so cool if he were actually like punished for like the obvious crimes that he's committed, but
imagine.
It might not happen.
Wait, one thing I want to say. What happened to him being impeached?
Right.
It literally said Trump is impeached, but nothing ever happened.
Well, what happened is that he was impeached in the House, so they filed like the articles of impeachment, but it would have had to pass through the Senate too, which wouldn't have happened because Republicans had the majority.
Oh, so it didn't pass through the Senate. That's what happened.
Which I think, it's like everybody was kind of like holding out hope that people like, enough of the Republicans would flip, because occasionally they do, like Mitt Romney and people like that, Susan Collins and whatever, and just not enough of them did for it to be able to pass. It should have passed if people, because that's the thing to it. It's like the Republican Party has become just the Trump Party, and it could be more than that. Not that the Republicans were ever good people, were ever had a moral code. There is no good Republican, but they used to be just a legitimate political party. That they would sometimes cheat like Bush or whatever, and they would start wars and they would do some pretty bad things, but they were always a legitimate party compared to the Democrats, and now they're treated as a joke or as a very extremist fascist organization. So at this point, they're like, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, they have to make a choice between aligning themselves with what they think the Republican Party's morals are supposed to be, which something closer to like what they like to say Reagan, or they like to say Bush or whatever, or they can align themselves with this new idea, the alt-right idea of Trump. And most of the time, I think it's pretty stupid. Most of the time, they choose the Trump side, when in the long run, maybe they should be choosing the regular Republican side so that they can keep kind of their dignity and their respect from other people in the future when Trump is gone, and which it looks like it's going to be very soon. But it's also funny because a lot of them are kind of already doing that. Like there's a lot of famous conservative pundits and politicians and stuff like that who have just said nothing this whole time. They're like waiting to see what happens.
Yeah. I'm shocked about how close it is.
Yeah.
I thought Biden was winning like easily, to be honest.
Right.
I didn't think people were actually that dumb to, after everything, continue to vote for Trump. Blows my mind. Blows my mind, Jack.
Yeah.
I don't understand, but whatever.
We have nearly 70 million people who have voted for Trump after 4 years of Trump, and we have increased numbers.
Lies.
Yeah.
After concealing the truth of the virus.
Right.
After literally he's responsible for like 200,000 people dying. Encouraging people to not wear masks. Like, it's insane.
He almost killed himself. He almost killed himself and his family. I mean, there's so many things to it. It's become,
It's beyond coronavirus, too, of course.
Right, of course, yeah.
It's just, I thought, I was thinking that, like, all, like, the weird racist people, all those middle American people were gonna, like, be mad at Trump for lying about the virus. And I felt like if they had family members that died from the virus, they'd be like, oh, if Trump didn't lie about the virus, my family member would be here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's going to be the reason why Trump doesn't win, because all his supporters are going to be mad at him for lying about it, which probably, if he didn't lie about it, would have saved their family members. But I guess not. I guess I'm wrong. I guess people don't care about their family members. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just crazy. Yeah. I just hope Biden wins. I mean, I really think he's gonna.
He's gonna, yeah. At this point,
253 Biden, 213 Trump.
That's the current score at the time we're taping this, and obviously I'm sure by the time that anybody's hearing this in post, up on available on all platforms, available on YouTube. Subscribe and click the bell. Available whether this part, I don't know, the segment is going to end up being on the WMYU broadcast, 89.1 FM and WMYU.org. But regardless, so at the time that we're recording this, it looks like Biden is at 253. He's very, very close to winning here.
Yeah.
There's always a chance it could go the other way, and we've seen things like this before, so it's scary. But also, the other thing I want to say too is, in terms of real-world current applications right now, I was outside the other day on election night. I went to get pizza, and every other store as I walked down the street was boarded up because they assumed Trump was going to win at that point. This is election night when he was not leading, but he was like leading in all the swing states, right? So he was like, it looked like he was going to win, and people were all these places that had bars in the windows. They already had bars in the windows. They put a board over the bars. It's like, first of all, that's not going to do anything, but just take the board off and smash the window. But yeah, so like people were preparing for riots or whatever to happen, and there have been a lot of protests too. If they continue, I'm definitely gonna go to a few of them. But there's been protests happening. They haven't gotten violent as far as I know, but there's just like this assumption, like this casual assumption. Oh yeah, this thing's gonna happen. It's gonna make people mad enough that they're gonna potentially smash our windows. Let's just cover our windows and just move on with our lives. The Kmart down the street from where I am right now, just put up these boards around the entire building, covering every inch of it, and they just like spray painted on the board. Don't worry, we're open. It's like,
wow, that's amazing.
So we can just move forward with our lives. We can just see these terrible. I didn't know
there was a Kmart in New York.
Yeah, I think it's the last one. But
if I knew that, I would have went there a bunch of times and gotten like, some wrestling figures.
Right. I don't even know if
there was a freaking Kmart in the city. Wow.
Yeah, it's right by me. It's Manhattan. It's like 9th Street. But
Give away your location.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I might loot there later too. So, yeah, but anyway, this has been a really weird time. There were certain points where it was scary, and now it's just pretty funny.
As long as Biden wins, nothing's going to be wrong in New York. They're probably going to celebrate like when Osama bin Laden died.
I hope John Cena announces it from the steel cage.
Oh yeah, what a crazy moment.
Yeah. Nobody talks about that anymore. Yeah, nobody ever refers to that anymore. That's like one of the few times that wrestling has like broken the fourth wall completely.
Yes, that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And no one ever talks about that. But I feel like if Biden wins, like, the states in like the middle of America, all those Kentuckys or whatever, they're all the same thing.
They are absolutely the same.
They're gonna start shooting up in the air and stuff. But we don't gotta worry about that, Jack. We're in New York.
It's true. Well, no, we don't have to
get looted.
Right. We don't have to worry about the psycho right wingers in really any of the psycho right wingers except for the cops, because.
Oh yeah, how I forgot about them.
Right.
Because the way I'm thinking of it, it's like Trump supporters, like you could go up to them and spit on them, they're not gonna do anything. But if you did that in like I don't know, Missouri, I assume they're able to like carry a gun.
100%,
so you can't do anything to them. But out here in New York, you're not gonna worry about them because they can't carry guns. As long as they don't have their guns, they're lame.
Yeah.
They're boring.
Yeah.
They can't fight.
Yeah, it's just the only worrying thing is just the fact that like, cops will crack down, arrest you, or beat the shit out of you, or any number of things.
There's worry both ways.
It's what?
There's worry both ways. It's either racist cops
right.
or racist crazy Trump supporters.
And unfortunately, they're more often than not, they're on the same...
Which one is worse?
Oh, cops, because they're supported by the system. But the...
yeah, but think about this. A lot of those Trump supporters, like, let's say they live alone, live in a trailer park, they have nothing to live for. What if they're crazier than the cop that probably has something to live for?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true, but also that could be one lone nut who just charges him with a gun and ends up maybe failing, ends up shooting one person, and because they just decided on a whim to shoot people and they're stupid, because
ends up dropping their gun.
Yeah.
And shooting themselves in the head. Or you ever watch 8 Mile? Remember that guy that shot himself in the leg with his gun in his pants?
Right, exactly. You see, that's who they are. That's who those people are. And cops are not that way. They're trained, and they know what they're... And also, if they don't end up, shooting themselves, which they probably won't, then they get away with their crimes almost 100% of the time. So that's more dangerous, I think. But also, yeah, as far as just closing points on this whole thing, because I could go on about this for hours, but I realize this is a wrestling podcast. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wrestling is
It's a
that
big deal, though. It's not like this is ever going to happen again.
Exactly. I mean, wrestling, does it really matter in the grand scheme?
Yes.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe you're right. But a couple of more things I wanted to say was just that...
you know what doesn't matter? Soccer. Soccer doesn't matter.
You're right.
Who cares about soccer?
Yeah, there's no alternative soccer podcast. Give me a break. Yeah. So, I want to say also that this is not something that we should say, oh, well, Biden is about to win, and so we should all just be happy and satisfied with that, because that is not that much better.
Listen, no, it's way better than Trump.
It's better than Trump. It is not leaps and bounds better, because Biden is a guy who, as we know, through his 40-some years in politics, he has cut or threatened to cut, failed to cut, because he's a pretty ineffective politician, being honest, Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. He's done this several times. He says he's changed his position now. Who knows? He is a president or a president-elect or whatever who supports vehemently fracking, such as the fracking that's going on around my old neighborhood right now, which I've been...
Got them earthquakes going on.
Yeah, love those earthquakes, right? And he goes, yeah, climate change, we need to care about climate change, but he won't commit to the Green New Deal, and he'll continue fracking, and he won't ban carbon emissions to the level that they should be banned. And he will support expanded healthcare, at least that's what he says. He won't support Medicare for all, and he won't support anything better than what Obama had, which did not cover so many people. So yes, he's an improvement on Trump. He's not anywhere near where the country needs to be.
He's like Bernie Sanders.
Still
better than Trump.
Yeah, but I think it's good that we have somebody who's not Trump, but that's all he is. His entire campaign was that he's not Trump. He ran on the policy, I'm not Trump. No policies other than that, except...
Yeah, it's still so close. It's crazy.
It is still so close.
Should have been Kanye.
Right. I think it's good in general that we have somebody who's not Trump, and that also, well, we didn't flip the Senate probably, but it could happen. It's a move towards progress on a small scale, and well, we should be just happy that Trump is not there, but we can't pretend that this is a good thing on its face. That Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. is the president is a good thing, because it's a very bad thing. It's just not Trump.
Trump is just horrible.
Yeah, you can't really get worse at this point than Trump.
You can't.
But you can get so much better than Biden. And so I hope once Biden's in office, there's actually a push. I know there will be from some people, but there's actually a push from the general population who care about issues like Medicare for all, and who care about issues like the Green New Deal, etc., because these are the most popular policies in America right now, $15 minimum wage, etc.
Yeah.
That they'll actually start pushing these things and really trying to get Biden to adopt things that he won't do on his own, that Kamala Harris definitely won't do on her own as well, while she's incarcerating fucking moms for their kids not going to school. So, yeah, we just have to keep marching towards a better future instead of just like a complacent future, or a future that's not Trump, because that's not the be-all. It's not the end-all. And it's, in the long run, not a good thing. In the short run, absolutely. It's great. I'm happy about this. But let's not be happy about it forever.
Now, what if Trump wins?
Well, then
what
we're
if all this just gets turned around real fast?
Then...
You ready for the riots?
I am so ready.
You gonna get a PS5? I don't think it's... I mean, it's not out yet.
If they have it at the Kmart down the street, then yeah, I'm gonna go loot that one.
I wonder if stores probably don't have it yet. I don't know when it's releasing. I think it might be releasing next week, or maybe I know the Xbox is releasing next week. Do you know how bad the Xbox is, by the way?
Oh yeah,
the new Xbox. Oh, it's so horrible, dude. Dude, 500. I just want to bring this up because Xbox sucks. You can't argue with it. You can't argue with the facts. All right, Xbox 500 gigabytes of free storage. All right. 364 gigabytes of usable storage. Literally, you download Call of Duty Warzone, that's half your storage. Horrible. This is a new generation system. Doesn't make any sense. Dude, the exclusives that they have, horrible. Their controller is the same exact controller from every other generation. Alright? PS5 has this new controller called a DualSense. This is going to change the world. it's a DualSense, and the haptics are like better than iPhones, and it's just better. It's just everything is perfect. Like there's like I don't know exactly what it is. I've heard people talk about it, but there's things on the controller, on the PS5 controller, that are like beyond what we can imagine right now. It's just the way it is, like the vibration, and there's other little things that I don't know, but I've heard is amazing. Like no one's actually gone into detail, at least from what I've seen, about what's on the controller. But yeah, PS5 is better. Exclusives, Jack, you better not get the Xbox. That's what I want to get at.
I would never
get that.
I would never get an Xbox. That's all I have to say about it.
PlayStation
Yeah.
5 is. Don't get me wrong. I'm mad about how you gotta like pay $100 extra for a DVD drive, which is just dumb. But you have to. But that's what you got to do now. It's almost insulting to me. And it's like, oh wow, that's how they're doing it now. I got to pay extra for a DVD drive to buy a disc, to be able to put a disc in my PlayStation, to be able to watch a movie. I got to pay extra. It's insulting to me, Jack. I'm very saddened by this. Are you saddened by this?
I'm very very much indifferent. Actually, I don't personally care. I'm gonna stick with my PS4 and I'm good.
PS5. You need a PS5.
I don't need to. I don't need to spend that money. But Erica Jerk in the chat asked, says Biden is friends with Obama. Maybe he can ask Obama what to do. And that's what I'm a little bit afraid of. Let's maybe ask Obama what to do in certain areas, but not probably in the the drone striking children area. So we have a couple more matches that we haven't actually predicted. We got off on a whole tangent. Yeah, you picked Darby Allin in this TNT title match, and I never actually said my prediction. So I almost want to say just Cody right after that because I want to disagree with you, so it's more interesting. I don't know if I believe that though, so I'm stuck. You're going with Darby for sure?
Yeah, I'm going Darby.
I'm also going to go Darby. I'm going to not disagree on that one. But we are down to one match that we may disagree on, and this may shake things up. We already disagree.
1,700, by the way. I got to interrupt you. 1,700 votes between Biden and Trump for Georgia right now.
Oh, that is tight. That is tight. It's getting so much tighter.
Tighter?
That's what she said or something. So we have the main event. It's not the main event. It's the last match I put here.
She could say that, yeah. I'm thinking of it.
She could.
She could say it's getting tighter.
It's a stretch, but I think if you really tried to fit it in there, I think it maybe will fit, and it'll probably
There's surgery to get it tighter, so maybe that could be the context of like you're on the phone and it's like it's getting tighter, like after getting the surgery.
Really, what I'm just trying to do is I'm trying to just like put things in and out and just see what fits. You know what I'm saying? See how far in I can get it. And
you don't want a golf ball in a basketball hoop.
Yeah, you get it. So anyway, the last match I have here is the one that I think is the most interesting. I know you probably agree with me. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, finals of this big title tournament. Winner gets a championship opportunity against assuming it's Jon Moxley. And we don't know when that title match will be yet, but it is. This match is happening at Full Gear, and it's the first time I think that this match has happened. I'm not totally sure about that.
It's the first time.
But it's also, more importantly, the culmination of a massive storyline, and it's finally this face-off that we've all been waiting for so long between two former tag team champions.
Oh my god. It's come so far. From them being tag team champions, him leaving the elite. Him wanting to go on his own, and then getting brought back to the elite with Kenny Omega, but not wanting to be a part of it. And then losing all of his friends. And now it's oh my god. I can't tell you who's gonna win. This is the same way I felt with the Young Bucks and Omega and Hangman Page when they had their tag match. Very, very emotional. Very intense.
The thing that I'm most looking forward to about this match is I do want to know if this will top the tag team match from AEW Revolution for you, because that's infamously your number one match of all time, which has put me through the ringer in terms of my anger and my pain in terms of that match. But I hope that this tops it.
Wrestling, though, so it's alright.
No, I actually know more than a lot of people, especially you. So
yeah, I started watching like 7 years before you.
When you were a small child. And yeah, so we have
my first match watching Great Khali versus Batista. It was the first match I ever watched. I remember it. All right, don't give me that small child BS.
And because that's the first match you ever saw, that is why you think the way you do. So we have
first match. Cody Rhodes versus Big Show. Was that your first match?
you insist that I liked that match. That was the worst match on that show.
You loved it. It's on your favorite WrestleMania. If it's your favorite WrestleMania, you have to love every single match that's on the card.
It was a good storyline. It was not a good match, but regardless, I think the first match I saw was, I don't remember, it was a house show in 2010. I don't remember what the first match was on it though. I know the main event was Cena versus Sheamus, but okay. So we have Omega, Page, winner gets title shot, big fucking big deal, and I'm gonna pick because I realize that you're going through a lot of emotions right now. You're going through the 7 stages of grief. While you have to think about your 2 boys fighting each other, it's like you're a parent watching your children fight to the death. And I understand this is sad for you. I understand this is hard. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the initiative here, and I'm going to pick Hangman Page to win.
I can't even predict this.
Yeah.
No contest.
No contest. It's a draw. Double pin.
Oh man, I literally can't predict this. Because you know Kenny Omega, Henny Omega.
Right.
You know Henny Omega is my favorite.
I do know Henny Omega.
One of my favorites. But Hangman Page, also he's grown on me so much. One of my favorites as well.
Well, if you do pick a draw, if somehow there were a draw, I'd probably give you like 3 points or something.
Nah, there's no way I would lose a point. I would give a point away like that.
Yeah.
Watch should be a draw now. Nah, I can't even tell you who. I really like. If Kenny Omega wins, he's gonna fight like John Moxley, which we would love. I mean, like I don't even know where it would make sense. Like if Kenny Omega wins, Hangman Page wins. Like I don't know what would make sense more.
Right. I think they make equal amounts of sense.
I don't know what would make sense more. Like
right.
No.
Omega fought Moxley already. They had their whole death match, but that might be actually a reason why it's more likely for them to do a rematch. Because that was it was a kind of a controversial match. A lot of people didn't like it, but it was overall a match that was critically well received. So they would do it again. And in this time for the championship, that would be a big deal. But Hangman, for his storyline, it maybe makes more sense for him to win, but I don't know.
Like what would they both even do after?
Right.
Like maybe a title match down the line.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Hangman is just gonna kill himself if he loses.
Yeah.
Like he said, it's just it'll just be him and his whiskey.
Right. So
he said it's good whiskey, by the way.
Gun to your head, whiskey in your hand. Who are you picking?
Cowboy boots on.
Cowboy boots on.
God. I don't even know. Like, I can't go against Kenny Omega, but I can't go against Hangman Page.
Right.
Like, this might actually be the hardest match.
Yeah.
This actually might be the hardest match I've ever predicted.
I think I kind of agree with that. I think I'm pretty sure, in my mind, I'm pretty certain with my pick. Not that I'm sure that Hangman's going to win, but I can see all the stars aligning for Hangman. But
you know how much I would love Hangman versus John Moxley? Like, Jesus Christ, that would be crazy. That would be so cool. Oh my God.
Well, you gotta pick something.
I'm almost leaning towards picking Hangman Page.
Okay.
To be honest.
Are you going with that? If here's the thing, if you pick Hangman Page, we agree on this one. We will still have 3 on this card that we disagree on.
Yeah.
It should in theory still be enough for one of us to. I mean, we could end up tying, but it should be enough for one of us to be a solid undisputed Mr. Predictions. But if you pick this one, it would be even more likely.
I'm just thinking about everything in my head right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like Hangman Page might have this one. I really do. But at the same time, it's like, would Kenny Omega really lose? I think I might have to go with Hangman. I think I might have to go with Hangman.
Okay, alright. Well,
I really think I'm going to have to go with Hangman Page to beat Kenny Omega.
So it's set in stone then. It looks like we both pick Orange Cassidy over John Silver. We both pick Sheeta over Nyla Rose. We both pick John Moxley over Eddie Kingston. We both pick Darby Allin over Cody. We both pick Hangman over Omega. And we disagree on 3 matches. You have Young Bucks. I have FTR. You have Matt Hardy. I have Sammy Guevara. And you have Chris Jericho. I have MJF. So it's going to be very interesting.
I almost want to pick Kenny Omega just to mix it up. But I don't know. I'm just having this gut feeling about Hangman Page. And just thinking of everything in my head, I'm like, whoa, I think Hangman Page might win.
Okay, well, that's our predictions for Full Gear, and I hope you watch it along with us and you are on the edge of your seat, as we will be, trying to figure out who will be Mr. Predictions. We disagree on 3 matches. It's going to be a big night this Saturday. Now, in other news, we have a lot more to get to still. Well, sort of. We have some stuff to get to. So, we have a lot of disagreements, Phil. We know this. We've established this. This is actually kind of the theme of the show, is that we disagree on everything. And we actually, in the last hour or so, have disagreed on so many things. Right. But there's one thing that we come back to that's not wrestling related, but it's one thing that we tend to argue about and gets very heated sometimes. And that's music, because I know we both care about music. We both have very different tastes in music. Right. But, and also, we have had this greatest wrestling theme tournament going that has caused a lot of disputes too among us and among our listeners. And
Among Us, great game.
Okay, so when we disagree on these music things, often we don't really, to be honest, consider each other's perspectives that much. With wrestling, it's a lot easier because we're both watching the same show every week, but we don't listen to the same music.
Listen, the things that you say, there is no considering perspectives. Like, you saying Pantera is a screamo band is just completely wrong. That's like saying Drake is a rock artist.
It's like saying Drake is a pop artist.
It's a completely different genre.
No, it's not, but
it's literally completely different. Like, the wrestling, okay, I get it. You have your own opinions. Okay, I can get how you'll have your own opinions. Now, they can be dumb, but they're your actual opinions. But when you say stuff like that, Pantera is a screamo band, that's literally wrong. That's wrong. That is completely wrong, because they are not. And I showed you what screamo is, read you the definition, gave you examples, yet you still say it's screamo. And at this point, I honestly think it's just a bit. So I don't even believe that you believe that anymore, to be completely honest with you.
Phil, we actually don't...
In the beginning, you actually believed it.
Phil, we actually don't do bits on the show. We don't do comedy or any kind of jovial discussion, if you will, on the show at all. It's actually all very serious. But
okay.
Look, I'm right. First of all, Pantera Screamo. Regardless,
you guys.
It's things like this. It's arguments like this, because you're making good points about the fact that when it's wrestling, I mean, like I was saying, when it's wrestling, we're watching the same product and we can form opinions based on that. And when it's music, we can't always form opinions based on a shared experience. We form it based on what we think. And our music tastes are very, very different. But at a certain point, maybe like this country, as we talked about, maybe like a lot of things, we have to find some common ground. So, Phil, I think it's time to finally try to bridge this gap, or at least try to find some kind of common ground or appreciation for each other's tastes, because today what we decided to do is we decided to kick off kind of an ongoing thing here. All right, so what we've come up with ourselves, what we've ranked in a way here, we've come up with 5 albums, our top 5 albums, music albums, okay, not the other one. So, I don't know what I'm talking about, dude. I'm tired.
Comedy albums?
Yeah, not comedy albums.
I'd pick Andrew Dice Clay. Do you have any comedy albums you like?
I don't have any that I own.
I don't own any. I don't own any
Personally, I don't own any records.
I'd probably go with the Neil Hamburger. Check that one out. So
I'd go with Dice Clay, Richard Pryor, maybe Red Fox.
Huh.
Who else? Well, see, I don't know if guys like I'm sure, was Eddie Murphy on a record?
Probably at some point.
You know, like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like it was Dave Chappelle ever on a record? Like, did they ever release an actual comedy record?
Probably. I think they still do them. But regardless.
Do they really?
We're talking about.
We're going on a
Yeah.
whole other thing. Let's do this music thing.
Yeah. So what we've done is we've come up with our top 5 albums ever of our entire lives. These are the ones we consider to be our favorites or our most meaningful albums in our lives, and we've ranked them even from 1 through 5 here. Right. What we're going to do is we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on reading out the rankings and the lists, but it's going to kick off a couple of weeks of some interesting content here because we're going to say what our albums are, and then each ensuing week, the other person is going to have to listen to the first or the second or whatever number we're up to on the list. We're going to have to listen to one of... What?
The album of the week.
The album of the week. We're going to have to listen to each other's albums. The ones that we picked. So, right now, when we list our top 5, by next week, I'm going to have to listen to Phil's number 5 on his list. He's going to have to listen to mine. And we're going to come next week prepared with a review of the album. We're going to be as honest as possible. We're going to say what we think are the best tracks, the worst tracks. And we also encourage the audience to be as involved as possible. All the listeners are encouraged, if you'd like to also listen to the albums of the week, because in that way you can, if you choose, come up with your own statements, your own reviews of these albums, and let us know what you think of them, and inform the discussion that we have next week. It may devolve into an argument. It may devolve into a surprising amount of appreciation for each other's tastes. Who knows? Anything could really happen with this because we don't actively listen to each other's music taste a lot. And I think, Phil, it's time to rank these because I don't know if you want to do this by going back and forth because that might take too long, or if you just want to go 5 through 1, each of us.
I'd go back and forth, but like I just want to say this is really hard. This is extremely hard for me to pick 5 albums. These are not my 5 albums of all time. There's just way too many albums to really put it into 5 albums of all time. Even this ranking I have here, I would not want to put one album over the other. It's extremely hard.
Sure.
It's just very hard. There's so many albums. And I think I have a list that'll be good. But at the same time, it hurts me.
Yeah.
It hurts me to exclude certain albums and to even rank them.
And you voiced these concerns earlier, but I kind of forced you to rank them. So you have a list.
I do have a list, but at the same time, it's like...
Yeah.
I have 5, but I really want 6. I mean, I really want 7, to be honest with you. There's just so many good albums. It's very hard. Like, even right now, I'm not 100% on these albums that I have ranked from 1 to 5 right now.
That's fair. But you do have them.
We're here.
I think we should get started with this. So, Phil, okay. So, do you want to... Do you think maybe we should start... I'm thinking maybe we should kind of like start... Oh, and I know we're doing coughing? Okay. So, okay. We do have them ranked.
Alright, here we go.
We have them in order.
Oh, man.
Go.
I haven't made up my mind at all. Haven't made up my mind. Thought about this for a week.
It's tough.
Haven't made up my
mind. Too bad.
Whatever.
It's unfortunate.
Let's just do it. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Let's just do it. So are we going to start with the number 5s? These are the ones we're going to have reviewed by next week?
Yes!
Okay. So, this is announcement time. If you guys are going to be listening along, following along, these are the ones for next week, okay? The number 5s on our list, the out of, the bottom tier of the 5, but they're not any less good than any of the other ones on the list. So, okay. Why don't you go first?
Honorable mentions? Do you have any honorable mentions?
I've eliminated all my honorable mentions. I've narrowed it down to 5.
I have 2 honorable mentions. I mean, I want to say those 2 because there's so many other honorable mentions. Danger Dangerous album.
Okay.
1989. Band from New York, 80s band from New York, great band. I really want to put that on there. And Starbound Beast album from 2012, I think, by Huntress. Album that means a lot to me, but I just didn't put it on this list. Should have. There's so many more albums though. Listen, I have just these 5 albums. I have these 5 albums. These are the albums we're doing it with. Maybe we'll do it again at another time, and I'll have another 5 albums. All right, my number 5 album. My number 5 album is Black Veil Bride's second album, Set the World on Fire. Came out in 2011, and it's a great album. I mean, their first album was more like emo, to be honest. It was more just sad and more emo. Still very cool, but the second album was a lot more just fun and rock and roll and had a meaning, but was like a good time. It was a very good time. The album is a very good time with some good messages, some great lyrics, very fun riffs. It's a beautiful album. I think it might be my favorite Black Veil Brides album. Black Veil Brides is probably definitely one of my favorite bands of all time. And that is my number 5. I think you'll like it a lot, Jack. I don't know. I mean, I know you don't like the screaming, but there's not a lot of that. It's really just a really great rock and roll record.
Okay.
I'd put it in as heavy metal, but a lot of people argue that it's not heavy metal. But I'd say it's a heavy metal rock and roll record. But who cares? Why try putting things in a box? It's a great album. You gotta check it out. I think you're gonna like it. That's my number 5. What is your number 5, Jack?
Well, by the way, I should say Set the World on Fire was the name of one of my finishing moves as a child when I was known as Johnny Flame in my backyard days. So, it was like a weird leg drop thing. It was basically Kofi Kingston's boom drop. I just ripped it off and did a little, like, twirl. It was really terrible. Pretending that part of my life does not exist. And yes, Erica Jerk in the chat, Glass Jaw is Screamo.
On a car?
When
you got rock bottomed on a car?
I did get rock bottomed on a car. I got rock bottomed on a car. I got rock bottomed on a coffee table that actually had glass as part of it, and I'm surprised it didn't break. I've been through some shit, you know.
I've been through it.
Yeah, I really have. My number 5 album. The Strokes. Is This It? Okay? So we have Is This It? 2001. What everybody pretty much considers to be the greatest Strokes album. Strokes, one of my favorite bands. If you're watching the video podcast, you can see some Strokes posters behind me. And I have multiple in my room. And they are, I think, one of the best and most original rock bands ever. They kind of saved the rock and roll genre in the early 2000s when it was kind of dying in a lot of ways. And they transitioned a lot from this point, which was just solid rock, 2001, their first album, to a lot more like indie rock, sort of alternative style, and now they're a little bit more like electronic. So they've had a lot of different genres. This is what people consider to be their best one. I'm partial as well to First Impressions of Earth from 2006, but this is definitely up there. Every single song, this is completely a no-skip. Every song on here is dope. Every song is catchy. And it's considered, I think it's like number 100-something on Rolling Stone's top 500 best albums ever. So, you know, it's a popular one, but it's also like, you know, a sentimental choice.
Okay. My number 4 is a little 1989 album called Skid Row by Skid Row.
Ah, Skid Row, self-titled. Okay.
Yes. 1989. Great 80s heavy metal rock and roll album. It almost defines what the whole hair metal scene was about to an extent.
Sure.
It's just beautiful. Sebastian Bach, the lead singer, beautiful voice, amazing voice. Has there's some popular songs in it. Youth Gone Wild, which was what's his name? Zandig's theme in CCW. I Remember You. It's like a ballad, but it's pretty popular. You probably heard it everywhere. What else? I think those are the 2 most popular songs on it. But it's a very good record. It means a lot to me. One of the first hair metal records I ever listened to. I found out about it because I think Youth Gone Wild was in like 2K15, like WWE 2K15 or something like that. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. And I discovered the whole album. And Sebastian Bach also has some rivalry with Chris Jericho now, so he's still relevant. That's cool.
That's true.
Yeah, and he has a very big house. He has a very, very beautiful big house. He does a lot of cameos too. And his voice is still amazing. I was going to see Sebastian Bach live and Skid Row live. Sebastian isn't in the band anymore. I was going to see both of them live. But, coronavirus, so didn't get to see them live. But yeah, great album. Best Skid Row album, hands down. Iconic album. Means a lot to me. You're going to love it. Trust me. It's a great record. You're going to be like, wow. You're going to start wearing like bandanas and stuff, Jack.
Now, I don't know if you actually...
gloves and scarves and whatnot, leather jackets.
Sure.
Boots.
I don't know how much you're being serious and how much you really think I'm going to like these things, but it's just becoming very clear to me that we do have very different music tastes, and I always knew this. But
yes,
my number 4 is something very, very different from Skid Row. Now, this is an album. This is the only one on this list that I think you may actually not like.
Boy.
Not because it's... Well, here's the thing. I think if you look at this with an open mind, and because it's so different from...
Yeah, that's what I usually do. That's how I usually listen to music now, because before I didn't really have that much of an open mind. But nowadays I have a pretty open mind. My mind is really open. It's really big. Like if you went inside it, you'd probably get lost, because that's how big and open it is, Jack.
And you usually get lost in it too, and that's understandable. So this is my number 4 on my list. This is from the year 2010. We have the album High Violet. It's by a band called The National. One of my dad's favorite bands as well. He introduced them to me to them. And I've seen a lot of these songs on this one specifically played live. And this is also an album that I feel like every single song on this, in its own way, is really good and really catchy. There's a lot of songs in here that are just like perfect radio singles, rock songs. There's songs that are a little closer to folk songs, slower ones. There's a few songs on here that are really very down-tempo and kind of sad, but there are a lot of songs that are a little bit more upbeat as well. Lyrics are really great. It's a very unique sound. You might like it if you listen to it. Maybe if you listen to it multiple times, or if you listen to it and pay a lot of attention to it, you might be into it. It's definitely not your style, but I hope you can find some things that you like about it. High Violet, The National, 2010. I highly recommend it. It's definitely their best one, but they had a lot of really great albums, and I own several of them. So, there you go. That's my number 4. What's your number 3?
Something I want to say is that we should definitely listen to the albums multiple times.
Sure.
Because one sit through of an album is not really listening to the album. You got to listen to it multiple times and figure out, what tracks you like the best and whatnot. And every time you listen to it, it's almost a little bit different, especially when you start getting familiar with the tracks on the album. It'll mean more to you. What else was I going? Oh yeah, I have a very diverse music taste, Jack. I mean, all the things on here are pretty much the same for the most part, but I like a lot of different music. So I'm probably gonna, the way I see this going, I'm probably gonna like the music that you're showing me, and you're probably not gonna like the music that I'm showing you. But whatever, it's fine. My number 3 is pretty sure it came out in 1984. Rat's first album, Out of the Cellar, has the iconic hit Round and Round, which is featured everywhere, especially in The Wrestler. Great movie. It's Rat's first record. It's very it's different from Skid Row's record, I'd say. It's just really just cool. I really don't even know how to explain it. We were talking about this earlier, how to really explain a genre. It's almost like that. It's somewhat impossible to really explain it. It's something that you have to hear. It's a very great album. Every song on there is really cool. The guitar riffs are amazing. The lyrics are pretty cool. Singer Piercy is great. Just everything about that album is amazing. And it has a hot girl on the cover too. So I mean, you can't go wrong, Jack. Do you understand? You just can't go wrong. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful album.
Absolutely.
You might not like it, but I don't care.
I actually think I will like this one, because I do know a couple of songs off this album. I've heard some of it.
Really?
I've heard a few songs by Rat, and I don't mind them. I think it's not something I listen to that much, but it's definitely a band I could definitely get into. A little known fact as well. I don't remember exactly which wrestler this was, but back in the late '90s, I did some research into this. WCW had some weird copyright laws where they were able to have access to some rock songs without the lyrics, and they just were able to have certain wrestlers come out to instrumental versions of some of these. And I think it might have been X-Pac 6 when he first debuted, came out to an instrumental version of Round and Round for like one match. So
really, that's amazing.
And it's on the network. They didn't even censor it.
It's on the network?
Yeah.
But they censor all the ECW themes?
Yeah, I know, right? And also Jericho. I don't know if you know the song by Mammoth, "All the Days," but Jericho came out to that one in his early days as a babyface, and it's not censored at all. But anyway,
But I do know Jericho came out to on my honorable mention, Danger's first album.
Right.
There's a song in there called "Rock America," and he came out to that. I think when he was in like a tag team, very early in his career.
I think that was with Storm.
I found this out recently. It made me like Chris Jericho even more because we like all the same bands. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Chris Jericho, I love you.
Well, speaking of not liking the same bands or liking the same bands, and you know the opposite of that, this is a band, my number 3 album, a band I've mentioned plenty of times here, and that you've mentioned plenty of times here as an excuse to make fun of my music taste. So you may automatically do just that. But my number 3 on my list, and this is a very easy choice for me because I listen to this album front to back constantly. A little band called Car Seat Headrest. And their 2016 LP, Teens of Denial.
Wait, is that the one that you sent me the song?
It is. I told you, I recommended this one to you a while back, and
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you liked the first couple songs that you heard, but it has...
I didn't experience it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't let it go through me.
It has like 12, 13 songs on it or something, and they're all very different. They're all... I feel like this is kind of a style that you could appreciate. There's some grunge elements in there. There's some regular traditional rock elements in there, and there's some indie rock alternative sort of elements in there. And I don't know, none of the songs on here I dislike at all. Even the songs that I didn't like when the first time I heard them, I now like because I listened to them multiple times and listened to the lyrics and can really appreciate them. That is one that climbs higher on my list every day. It's one of my very favorites, and yeah, it's perfect to me.
My number 2 is Shout Out to Devil by Motley Crue. Motley Crue's second album. Now, this album is amazing because it's almost similar to their first album, but they didn't have any money at all. So they kind of had to work with what they got. But once the second album came out, that is basically everything that they wanted it to be. Like, it's just the perfect album. Has the song Shout Out the Devil on it. I'm sure you know that song. I mean, everyone knows that song. It's just amazing. It really defined the 80s, defines Motley Crue. Might be my favorite Motley Crue record. It's hard to say that. I'm not sure. I think it's a tie between Girls, Girls, Girls and Shout Out the Devil. And Girls, Girls, Girls is their 4th album. And Shout Out the Devil is their 2nd album. But yeah, it means a lot to me. Every track on there is amazing, and one of the tracks, Bastard, was actually on the Filthy 15 list, which was like this list that, like, I don't know who made it. I think like some mom or just some people. So I think it was like one of those groups, you know, Black Sabbath is devil music, like one of those groups. They made a list and like they brought it to court, whatever, and it was just a list of like songs that they considered were really bad. And I know Bastard was on there by Motley Crue. I think a Madonna song was on there. Prince song was on there. Can't remember what other songs were on there. Iconic album. I love it. It's ingrained in my heart. It's in my soul, Jack. They're going to play the album at my funeral.
The whole thing, front to back?
Yes. Whole thing.
Okay, well, my number 2. Now, this is one that I haven't been listening to as much recently, but has been pretty much established as one of my very favorites since it came out when I first listened to it. 2014, this came out. This is a band called, I don't know if I mentioned them before, let me get on the other side of this. A band called Bleachers, and the album is called Strange Desire. It's their first album. They're supposed to come out with their 3rd one this year. Their 2nd one's also pretty cool, but this one is just the perfect summation of who they are. There's some pop rock elements to it. There's some regular traditional rock elements to it. I don't know. There's parts of this album that you'll definitely like, but there's parts of it that you may not. I'm not sure. There's only 2 songs on here that I'm not too fond of, but I can move past them because I think overall the sound of the album and the way that it flows, the sequencing, if you will, is pretty flawless. And it's one that one of the first albums actually that I listened to start to finish when I was really getting into music, because I didn't really start getting into listening to music obsessively until I was somewhere like maybe like 14 years old when that album came out, and I heard a couple of songs from it on the radio and instantly I was just let's listen to the full thing. And it's like I didn't really do that at the time ever, and I was like hooked, and I would just listen to the whole thing over and over again, and still listen to a lot of the songs from it now, even though I've heard all of them probably hundreds of times individually. And so yeah, that has to have a place on my list, and that's my number 2. So we are down to our number 1s. This is big.
You know, that's interesting. I think I always try to think about what was the first thing that I heard that really made me go like, wow. And like I remember Nirvana's Nevermind album was like a big deal to me. But even before that, like Marilyn Manson and like other bands, Slipknot, like bands like that were like blew my mind. Black Veil Brides. That's a whole other topic that we should definitely discuss one day, because I'm interested to hear your beginnings of music. You know what? Let me ask you this real quick. When you were like a little child, do you remember the first song that you heard? And this is like before the influence of others, of like people saying, hey man, that's not cool or whatever. Like, do you remember the first song that you heard that you were like, whoa, like this is really cool. This is insane. Like when you were like 4 or 5 or whatever. Do you remember that far back?
Yeah, I think that the first stuff that I ever listened to and actually liked, but maybe it was just because my parents would play it so often, was, you know, its basic answer was the Beatles, because they would, you know, play that. I guess in terms of albums that I've heard front to back, those were the first ones that we played over and over again.
What about a song? Is there like a specific song that you remember?
I remember my dad used to sing me Strawberry Fields Forever as a lullaby. So that's the one I remember. And then I would hear it normally, and the way that that song sounds is so cool. Just like, it's such a unique song. And Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds too, which I think just are both just blatant, you know, drug songs. But those were my childhood favorites. And then as far as when I was a little bit older, songs that made me like, that I would hear and then actively be like, that's so cool. Heroes by Bowie, easy. Okay. And then LCD Sound System's album, This Is Happening. We used to own that on CD, and that I would also really recommend. Their songs are really unique. So that's what I'll go with.
Yeah. Me, I remember, it was like 2006, so I was like 5. But I remember clearly always watching MTV, right? Now, like, I always grew up on, like, hip-hop, right? Because my dad's a DJ, so it's, like, all, like, hip-hop, basically. And that was, like, that was kind of like my introduction to music. But then, like, I would put on MTV in, like, 2006. I remember Boulevard of Broken Dreams, that video came out.
Yeah.
Green Day. Panic at the Disco, I Write Sins, Tragedies. That, oh my god, that blew my mind. I was like, whoa, this is cool. This is so cool. I would watch that all the time. Outcast's Hey Ya, that was a great one. There's another one. What do you call it? Madonna. It's called Hung Up. That was another one that I would always watch. And I really remember those 4 songs. I'm sure there were other ones that I can't think of right now. But, like, those songs were like, whoa. I was like, whoa, this is music. Whoa, music is so cool. And then later on, it was, like, Marilyn Manson. Like, the first time I heard Smells Like Teen Spirit, I was like, whoa, what's this? Blew my mind. Rat, Round and Round is one of the first, like, 80s songs I heard, too. And it blew, like, I literally remember sitting there and being like, whoa, this is blowing my mind. I never heard anything like this, Round and Round, which still holds up. I still love that song. But yeah, I feel like we should make that a segment on a future episode. Just go more into music. But I want you to say your number 1 right now.
Oh, before yours?
Yeah.
All right, well, sure. You know, you talk about early songs that had an impact on me. I mentioned Bowie. And my first album, I don't have it on vinyl, so I can't show it on the video podcast, but it is a seminal album in rock history, period. Everyone, I feel like, knows it to some extent, and that's The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, 1973, David Bowie. It has most of his hits on it, I would say, or I mean, almost every song on it was a hit single, and it's just such a cool... I mean, it's Bowie, so like everybody really knows what Bowie's all about. But it's got, so like, I'm sure you've heard of a lot of these songs, but it's the one with Starman, Moon Age Daydream, your Ziggy Stardust, of course, Suffragette City. These are all, you know, pretty big songs, and it also just kind of tells I don't know exactly what the story is, but it definitely tells a story from start to finish. And just every song on there, I can go back to and think this is just a building block of my music appreciation, and there can be no album that's ranked higher. One of the few albums that I have as a poster on my wall, and It's if you're on the video podcast, you should be able to see it right over here. And it has to be my number one from childhood through now.
Look at that, from childhood. That's beautiful. Another thing, just on the topic that we had before, it's about music. I remember really always watching the video for TikTok by Kesha.
Oh my god.
Bad Romance by Lady Gaga.
Sure.
I remember some Papa Roach song, which to this day I don't know what song it was, but I remember the video. Oh yeah, the SmackDown versus Raw games, dude. Those wrestling games, all those songs in there are like engraved in my soul and really introduced me to like more of the rock and heavy metal side of things. Like those songs were like, oh my god, beautiful songs. Still listen to them all the time. Still played all the games all the time. But those songs really impacted me because it was like, well, I never heard anything like that before. Now, my number one. You ready for my number one?
I'm so ready. I have been waiting. What feels like forever to finally hear this one.
All right, you ready, Jacqueline?
I think maybe I'm not ready anymore.
My number one is a little 2009 album called Feel the Steel by Steel Panther.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, it has amazing songs like Death Toll, The Metal, Community Property. There's some other good ones that I can say on the air. Eatin' Ain't Cheatin'.
This is your favorite ever?
Stripper Girl. Yep, my favorite of all the time. Girl from Oklahoma. Great tracks. Party All Day. That's a great track. The Shocker. The Shocker is a great one.
So what you're telling me is I have to listen to this.
You have to listen multiple times with the most openest of open minds to Steel Panther's first debut album, Feel the Steel. Now, you see, they were, Steel Panther. This record took like 20 years to make, because they had their big. They were really hyped up to be the next big thing, back in the 80s, and then the drugs and whatnot got on the way, and they faded away, and they missed out on a really big contract, right? Because in the 80s they were just focused on doing other things like drugs and such, which they still do, of course they still do that. But they faded away. They missed out on a really big contract, and then no one knew what happened. They just went AFK, like when Dave Chappelle left from the Chappelle Show. He just left. He just vanished. No one knew what happened to them. In 2009, they come back with the greatest record to ever exist in the history of music. Steel Panthers, Feel the Steel. Greatest record, hands down, to ever exist in the history of music, the greatest anything to exist in the history of everything. Do you understand? It's greater than you.
Oh, wow.
It's equal to me. Do you get that?
Oh, I hear you.
This album is the album. To this day, it's influenced many artists. Lady Gaga, was influenced by this. Who else? Megan Thee Stallion, very influenced by Feel the Steel.
Megan Thee Stallion?
Oh yeah.
No way. No way. You're lying.
Car seat headrest.
Okay, all right. I see where you're going.
I remember watching an interview with them, and they talked about, because after you showed me that song, I was like, I'm gonna look them up. I saw a video with them, an interview, and they were like, Steel Panther is one of our greatest influences in the world. Even Metallica changed their sound because of Steel Panther. You understand this?
Yeah, no, I see the bit you're doing, and I gotta say I don't like it. I'm gonna listen with an open mind.
Billie Eilish.
I am going to listen with an open mind to this, but I don't think I'm going to like
Justin Bieber without Steel Panther. There'd be no Ludacris. You understand? Imagine a world without Ludacris.
That would be
no Exhibit.
It would be a much better world. Look, Phil, I some of these albums I'm looking forward to listening to. Some of them I am, of course, dreading listening to. And over the next few weeks, I hope you'll all listen along with us, because we have run down our list of our 5 favorite albums of our lifetimes, and each ensuing week until we get through number 1, we are going to be reviewing each other's albums as we go through the list. So we'll continue to update this as we go through the weeks, but for next week I am going to have to listen to and review Black Veil Bride's Set the World on Fire. Phil is going to have to listen to and review The Strokes' first album, Is This It? So, I hope that everybody will listen along with us and share your 2 cents, but regardless, we will be here next week to possibly run each other down, possibly come together into a kumbaya moment and appreciate each other's favorite music. But one music thing that we don't tend to agree on is our greatest wrestling themed tournament, Phil.
Oh yeah.
We have to update you guys. We have to update you guys on this. There is a lot to say because we are getting onto the wire. We, as of last week, had 16 remaining, and we have actually eliminated 4 more of them, which means that officially we can say today we are down to only 12 wrestling themes.
Oh my god.
This is going to be determining the greatest wrestling theme of all time, undisputed. You cannot argue with it once this is over. Now, I got to say who won these. Okay, so D-Generation X, probably to nobody's surprise, defeated Rob Van Dam's One of a Kind.
Well, of course. D-Generation X is just iconic. Keep going.
Now, this one was pretty close. It actually only won by 2 votes, but the Brood ran through Shinsuke Nakamura's Rising Sun.
What did I tell you? Exactly.
I know you predicted this.
I can't believe it was that close. Like, Nakamura's theme is not that good. Like, people are really doing the most to keep that theme into the tournament. It's not that good of a theme at all.
I think the same about the Brood.
Sing along, but like, okay, Becky Lynch's theme you sing along. I wouldn't say Nakamura's theme is better than Becky Lynch's. Sami Zayn's theme you sing along. I would say Sami Zayn's theme is way better than Nakamura's theme. Doesn't make any sense why Nakamura's theme made it this far to begin with.
It's fair. That's fair, but I think the same thing about the Brood theme. To be honest, I think that's a vastly overrated theme song. It's perfectly good, but
not at all.
Nowhere near the level of the top 16 or the top 12 now.
Definitely.
Top 8. It's going to be in the top 8.
Well, it definitely is of all time.
It'll be going up against the D-Generation X theme song in the next round, so you might lose there. Yeah, it's got to be.
Guys.
Now, this next one was actually also very close. This was only it only won by 1 vote this time. Break the Walls Down, Chris Jericho defeated Slow Chemical, Kane's theme song.
Really?
By only 1 vote.
That's crazy.
The last one, this is the one that I take the most personal issue with. And I know a lot of people were anxiously awaiting to hear the results on this one. And I have to say it, much to my chagrin, there's a notorious Screamo band that's been penetrating the airwaves here. It's been forcing itself onto the show as much as it possibly can. And they're a band called Pantera, and unfortunately, Phil, they've stayed alive here because Walk, Rob Van Dam's ECW theme song,
of course,
that I've derided plenty of times in the past, and nobody seems to get on the bandwagon with me, is
you're dumb.
It's still in the tournament, Phil. It defeated Judas, Chris Jericho's current theme song.
Of course it did.
Now, this could have been so cool. It could have been Break the Walls Down versus Judas, Chris Jericho versus Chris Jericho in the final 8. Now, Walk is going to advance, and I'm starting to feel bad about this one because I'm thinking Walk might win again because Break the Walls Down, it's an iconic theme song, but every one of its matchups that it's been in so far, it's won in a very close margin. And I'm worried that Walk, which has gotten some really large landslide wins in the past,
of course,
is going to get a win here again. And I'm very worried about that.
You're not really like familiar with music, you know? So I can understand why you don't like Walk by Pantera. But just so you know, it's an amazing song, an amazing theme, and you're just missing out on not enjoying it. You're missing out on enjoying it by not enjoying it. And no, Nakamura's theme is not that good. It's really not that good. There are way better themes than Nakamura's theme. Christian's theme is better than Nakamura's theme. I go on. There's like way better theme. Billy Gunn's theme is better than Nakamura's theme.
Well, Billy Gunn's theme lost to Nakamura's theme in the last round, so clearly that's not true.
Dupree's theme is better than Nakamura's theme.
You talk about Christian, and I will say I will have more to say about Pantera's theme next week, next week when it is again discussed. But when it goes up against Break the Walls Down. But you talk about Christian, and Christian's theme is also still in this because we have to announce the last 4 of the 3rd round here. Okay, we're still in the round of 16. Christian's theme versus Edge's theme. That's Just Close Your Eyes versus Metalingus. Former tag team partners collide. But which one's the better theme?
My God, I'd have to go with Edge.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious one, right? Like that one could win the whole thing.
Get that. I mean, I guess you're not completely like dumb.
So I am I'm going to go with Edge, and I assume you are definitely riding with Edge here. It has to win. It's probably going to be a landslide win too.
Of course.
Now, the one that will go against, the winner of that one will go against. This is a little bit harder, and I know you even referenced this one last week because you were worried about having to vote on this. My Time, the old Triple H theme song, versus Burn in My Light, the old Randy Orton theme song.
Those are literally my two favorite themes.
Right.
I can't pick it. This is like picking Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Literally, it's just like that. Those are my two favorite themes. That song I heard, both songs I heard growing up. The way I heard My Time was like YouTube in like 2007. Like I discovered the song.
Right.
And I saw him come out to it. And I saw like other stuff with him involving that song, and I was like, whoa, this is the greatest song of all time. And then Burn in My Light, I mean, of course, growing up with that Randy Orton, to this day, Randy Orton is God. Randy Orton is God. And that song is also godlike. So,
well,
those are my two favorite themes of all time.
Well, unfortunately, only one of them can move on to
Generation X. Those would be my three favorite themes. DX, My Time, Burn in My Light.
Well, only one of those last two can move on to the final 8, and I am going to cast my vote officially for My Time. I think it is a better song. But if you can't choose, then, well, the listeners will choose it for you. So, No Chance in Hell, Vince McMahon, versus The Game, Triple H.
Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, I might have to go with No Chance.
Yeah? You know...
kind of just because of, like, the Attitude Era nostalgia.
Right.
Somewhat. And just the all-around nostalgia. Because The Game was really more of, like... I think he started using that in, like... Well, no, I think he started using that in, like, 2003. Oh, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I can see the argument for both, but I am going to go with The Game because I think it's just an overall better song. But we'll see. I think that'll be a close one.
I'm going to have to go with No Chance. I really don't want to pick that one, but I have to.
Yeah.
That's what my gut is telling me.
The last one we're going to go with in round 3, the last one that will determine who moves on to the final 8, is No More Words, Jeff Hardy, versus the very unlikely upset from last week, Bray Wyatt.
Oh, No More Words. Obviously, No More Words.
This is a really hard one for me, actually. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go No More Words as well. Actually,
no.
You know what? I would love to see Bray Wyatt hit another upset. I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt.
No, just go with No More Words.
I like them both equally, I got to say. And if Bray Wyatt wins here, and if it goes up against either No Chance in Hell or The Game, I'm still going to vote Bray Wyatt. I'm committed to this cause.
Okay, Bray Wyatt's theme is not that good. It's a really, really good song, but it's not the best theme ever.
I think it's pretty great. It's definitely top 16.
Good. No, get me wrong, it's amazing. It's not the best theme ever. No More Words is better. But
we will
there's also
see.
nostalgia
We will
that
see.
comes into play with No More Words.
Yeah,
like watching Jeff Hardy in 2009 and realizing I want to be a wrestler. So, there's that.
Exactly. Well, next week, you can vote at FightGeist Wrestling on Instagram, on the Instagram stories. Or you can vote live in the chat if you're in the chat right now, twitch.tv/FightGeist Wrestling, and you can vote every single week as we go through these in that live chat. But you can also, by the way, I should say, not only can you follow us on Instagram at FightGeist Wrestling, you can follow us on Twitter at FightGeistPod. You can email us, FightGeistWrestling@gmail.com, if you would like your audio, your contributions to be featured on the show. It will be. If it's emailed there, it will be featured. You can listen to us on alternating Wednesdays. We'll update you on the weeks that they will happen. You can listen to us on 89.1 FM WNYU or WNYU.org. That's terrestrial radio, or, a .org site, which is still pretty prestigious. You can follow us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can turn the notification bell on YouTube. Very important. All the episodes go up there. Videos, clips, etc. go up there as well. Great source of FightGeist entertainment on YouTube. You can listen to the podcast on every single platform. We're even available in limited capacity on SoundCloud right now, which is usually a paid service, but we now have like a little, an in over there. And we're available on every other podcast service you can possibly think of. And regardless, no matter how you listen to us, whether it's here on twitch.tv/FightGeist Wrestling Live, or whether it's wherever you're listening to us right now, I'm Jack Peterson. I'm Ajax. I am Mr. Clean. I'm Mr. Trivia. I'm Mr. Predictions. Nope. I'm the Undisputed Champion. I'm Scotch Tape. I'm Joseph Robinette. And I'm joined every week by the man across the internet.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Predictions, and he knows it. I'm also Mr. Trivia. I'm taking that from him. I allowed him to have it, but now I'm taking it back since he won't apologize for the cheating that he's done. I'm also Phil, of course. Prince Havoc. And Jack, we're the best podcast to ever exist because we're FightGeist,
the alternative wrestling podcast.
throw your tiger bunnies up.